everyone, and welcome back to the Rave Social Podcast. I'm your host, Jaiden, and today we have Aubrey. She is an incredible photographer and stock photography expert. Basically, she teaches people how to make tons of money off of stock photography, which is just crazy and amazing. So, Aubrey, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and what you do and maybe who you serve?
Hi, Jaiden. Thank you so much for having me. And I feel like we need to stop and take a moment to appreciate that we actually made it here. I think we had to reschedule this 7 times.
Yeah,
And
anything
it
that
was
could go
usually
wrong did.
something out of our control. Last week, my internet went out during a thunderstorm, and they had to come and rewire everything. And I don't even know why, but it's just been everything has been like that. So I'm just so happy to finally be here with you.
Yes, me too.
Yes. And as you said, I am a photographer. I actually started as a wedding photographer, and I did that for about 10 years. And during that time, I discovered stock photography, and it was just something I did on the side. And then in 2020, I basically ended up just shifting to focus fully on stock photography when the whole world shut down and I lost all of my weddings. And I just realized, hey, I love this. Why don't I keep doing this and bring other photographers along with me? And I basically started with a workshop, an online workshop during that time. And as you can imagine, everyone was interested because all the other photographers were in the same place as me and wanted to learn about this great passive income stream. So then that just kind of became my full-time focus along with being a mom. So that's kind of what brings me to where I am today.
That is so cool and so awesome to think about how that time was so scary for just so many people. Even I had a full-time job at the time, but I was in sales, and so it was very I'm pretty sure we had a 0 sales month, and it was just what is going on? And to be able to quickly shift, and I can only imagine how scary it was for you and other photographers to be I lost all my weddings, that is my income, what do I do? And for you to provide that is crazy.
Not only that, but my ex-husband and I had just moved back to Idaho because we had a baby. We wanted to be close to family, and we were already in this place of let's start over. This is going to be great. We can do this. We moved back to Idaho. We're staying with his parents because we're we can buy a house in Idaho. We moved from San Diego. We can buy a house here. This is going to be so great. And then it ended up we're stuck living with them out of necessity for a year, and lost a lot of our savings because a lot of our weddings that we had already booked were either canceled or postponed. So that's a whole year of income for both of us. And so I think the craziest thing about that time is these things happened that nobody ever thought could happen. Like you said, a 0 sales month.
Yeah, I was am I gonna get
when does that happen?
Nobody's doing anything. Yeah, that is just so crazy. And I don't know, it's funny. It's making me think about the economy right now, because the economy right now, I think it feels weird to a lot of people. You can kind of feel some restriction. People are slowing their spending, whatever. And when you're a business owner, it's so scary, right? You're
right.
I need clients. I need the income. What is happening? And to hear your story and how you were just I just shifted into stock photography, and you made that your thing, is it's just beautiful, because it's there is opportunity. There is opportunity, right? And you may have to shift.
And you might not figure it out on the first try, because I actually, during that year, I started a financial planner program. I wanted to be a financial planner at one point, because I also love finance, but I failed that because I had a 1-year-old. I literally failed the course because I didn't have enough time, and it was so intense. And so I had to figure something out that worked with my like with my life too. And so that's the other thing is like, it might take a few tries, but like if you can figure something out that actually works for you and your life, like in the long run, it's going to be so much better.
It's so true.
And it's worth it.
That's so amazing. Wow. I love it. And I'm so excited to have you on today. We had talked about talking a little bit about like lazy girl marketing strategy. And to me, the word lazy, like I love it because I'm like, cool, let's be lazy. I don't have that like negative connotation with it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you're not liking the word lazy, like you could switch that out for like soft girl marketing or whatever feels better to
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, I did this lazy girl stock photography boot camp, and like some people did have that response, like, I'm not lazy. I'm like, trust me, I'm not lazy either. But like the idea was more, I'm gonna give you like these tips and tricks to make stock photography easier for you. So to me,
Yeah,
it's more like, but at the same time, it's like there's always going to be upfront work, but then it's
totally.
like lazy is almost like passive income to me. Like it's
I
almost like the same idea.
I agree, and I like the word lazy because like what who decided that that's like bad? Like let's
Right.
it's okay
I
to
think
like
we
do
picture people
nothing.
like exactly. Like why do we hate this? Because in my mind, like the times when I rest, when I'm allowing myself to be lazy, that's like the refresh. That's like when I get my best ideas.
Yeah, it's so true. So let's like dive into that a little bit. So you've been one thing you said, you're like, well, my biggest tip is to just keep going. I've been doing this for over 10 years,
Yeah.
which I love. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that journey?
Oh, yeah, I would love to. So I went to school. I have an art degree, and I my focus was graphic design, and then I did get a minor in photography. I graduated from college in 2010.
We love
So
it.
that was also like there were no jobs in 2010. Like at
So
least
real.
it's similar to now. Well, maybe, I mean, there are jobs now, but it's similar to maybe like say you graduate in 2020. But
Yeah.
like I could not find a job and I tried so hard. Like I was like top of my class. I got an award for being like designer of the year and I still couldn't find a job. And I ended up getting a job for a realtor and it was a graphic design job, but then I ended up being like a secretary, like answering phones, which like nothing against that, but I hate answering phones. And she was also like so she's very good at what she does. Like she's the top realtor where I live, but obviously that comes with like a lot of stress in a toxic environment.
Yeah.
So I would go home and cry every single day. And then
No.
I would work on my Etsy shop,
Oh,
which
you have been going at this for
I
a
don't know if
while.
you know about this, but I actually started with an Etsy wedding invitation shop. And this was kind of back in the day where like it was easier to blow up on Etsy. I was like kind of promoted by Etsy on their front page and in their emails and stuff. And so it only took like 3 months for me to replace my income, which was like $10 at the time. Okay. So it wasn't like I was making the big bucks, but I was able to quit that job and I just like went full time on Etsy. And
Wow.
then, um, and then that also kind of gave us the ability to move to San Diego because I was getting like just like inklings that maybe I wanted to be a wedding photographer. I had I had been asked like a friend by a friend of a friend to shoot their wedding because people just knew like, oh yeah, Aubrey has a camera, she's an artist, she could shoot your wedding. So we did shoot one wedding and I loved it at the time and I was like, yeah, I want to go all in and shoot weddings and like do the wedding invitation business. And so we moved to San Diego so that like we could kind of like start our business and like there's just more people there. there's weddings year round. So it was like sort of a strategic, like if we want to launch our business, let's do it there. And I did
Yeah.
this with my ex-husband. So when I say we, it was him.
Yeah.
And so the invitation business kind of gave like enough like wiggle room to where like we could move and I was still making some money and we could like start this business. Um, and then I feel like it was like a year, it took like a year. And then we were like booking full-time weddings year
That is
round.
so cool.
So yeah, we would shoot weddings in San Diego, Los Angeles, Palm Springs, Joshua Tree, like kind of like all these dream locations for weddings, right? And I think that helped us to like get recognized more quickly. Like back
Yeah.
in the day, it was all about like getting featured on wedding blogs and like getting
Yeah.
there like these super cool weddings that people like. The thing about weddings is people like to see themselves in your photos. So if they see
Yes.
like this super cool, beautiful couple and like that's what that's how they want to see themselves on their wedding day, then that's kind of like how some people will choose their photographers.
100%. That's huge. I work with so many photographers and like that's the
Right?
thing. Like you have to get your audience in to see themselves in front of your camera because
Exactly.
they need to know what it's going to look like on their day. Yeah. That's so
Exactly.
cool.
Yeah. So I think that really contributed to a lot of our success. Um, but at the same time, like I have grown so much as like a marketer and just as being someone who's like comfortable being seen. I think like at that time I was so afraid to like be seen for who I was and so I hid so much like behind my work
Yeah.
and that like I think that I could have enjoyed my business a lot more and probably like not have gotten as burnt out if I had like learned that a bit earlier in my career.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what one of your like big marketing or like mistakes or regrets you felt like was, and so like that's one of them. Do you have any others that like you wish you would have just done differently or done sooner to market any of your businesses?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely the first thing that comes to mind is just like I think like in photography there's a big conversation about like ideal clients and dream clients and like that's what everyone wants. Like everyone has this idea of like this is the type of person that I want to work with.
Yeah.
And I think the absolute easiest way to do that, even if you don't like know what type of person that is like if you can be yourself and like show that to the world, I think that's automatically going to attract people that you're going to enjoy working with,
I agree
right?
because
Like,
like when they feel like it's less about like a target audience persona and all of that nitty-gritty stuff that like is helpful to a degree. It's less about that and it's more about just like showing up as who you are because then those people are going to find you and they're going to know you. Like they're going to know how you work. They're going to know that you're like either a super organized like Capricorn queen or they're going to know that you're more of
right,
like a flowy artist type and like that's going to change who wants to work with you and
right.
it just aligns you better when people know who you are before they hire you.
Exactly. I think this is true for so many industries. And like you said, if you're a flowy artist type, that's probably the type of person you would like to work with. And that's how
Yeah.
you're going to attract that type of person. It's like if you're showing up on stories just like as your laid back self or in your copy, like that's going to attract that person. And I think like I overthought like the what I was like putting out there, what I was sharing, like, and I to the point where like I was too afraid to even share things. And
That is huge. Yeah.
yeah, and that I think like that really held me back from like having a lot more fun in my business The other thing is like if you're trying to sign clients and you're getting them on like a consultation call or something, it's going to be so much easier for them to sign with you or to choose you if they already feel like they know you. And it's also going to be easier on you because like I would show up to these like Zoom consultations and I would feel so nervous because it's like this is an interview and they're deciding between me and this other photographer. So I have to make a good impression. And then that just like puts so much pressure on you to perform. Or it's like if
Yeah.
they already feel like they know you and then it's just like you're really just showing up to like answer their questions and stuff, it's just going to be so much more successful. Like you're
Yeah.
probably going to sign a lot more clients that way than like just trying to like wait to get them on the call and then try to like wow them, right?
Yeah. And I think it's hard for people like in the beginning stages when you're saying like, show up this way, like show up, show yourself. I think like people can be nervous to do that perfectly, or they're worried like I'm going to change and evolve. Like how I show up right now what might be different in a year, or like what if I change my mind
It
or whatever.
absolutely will.
Yeah, and to that I say like go for it. Like I'm a completely different person. Like my content is so different from what it was a year ago, and like it's all
Yeah.
good. Like I don't even worry or think about that ever because I'm just like,
No.
of course
I
I'm going
think
to
people
change.
appreciate seeing that too. Like they appreciate it's almost like you're giving them permission to change their mind and
Yeah.
be someone different, right?
And like honestly, they're not following you that closely. It's not like
Yeah.
one day you were this and the next day you're that. Like evolution change. Like you change slower than that. So like
Hmm.
it's not like somebody's really even going to notice, that you've
Yeah. I don't
evolved
think
very
anyone
much.
notices. I think
Yeah.
it's more like I think you're going to keep their attention longer if you are evolving because you're going to keep things interesting. But I don't
Yeah,
think
and
they're
like
going to judge you for that.
no. And if they are, like, I don't know, I just wouldn't work with them. Like, that's
Right.
weird. Just unfollow me. Like, why does it
Yeah.
matter? But I think that also has like a perfectionism element to it where like you were saying you were even nervous. You're like, I felt like I had to show up. I always had to have these things be perfect, whatever. And like, I just say like, do you ever want to talk to a perfect person? Because like I don't.
Right.
I've talked to people who think they're perfect and they're awful to talk to. And
Exactly.
I don't want to be their friend. So like it's okay to not be perfect.
Yeah. I think we would all prefer to see imperfection over perfection.
Yeah. So
Hmm.
going a little bit deeper into that, you've been creating content for a very long time, marketing these businesses, using social media, using Etsy, like all of these things.
Hmm.
What do you feel like has shifted there? Like how should people be showing up now? I know we talked about being personal, but a little deeper than that. Like what is working?
I think people really like to see behind the scenes. They want to see like behind the curtain. They want to see you like in your home, in your element. They want to see you in your like yoga pants. Like, I think that sometimes I'm like worried. I'm like, I'm wearing a baseball hat again today. My hair's unwashed. And like, I feel like I'm always showing up like this. And then I'm like, wait, I think people like that. Like when I show up like this, especially like I have a private account now. And so like I'll show up and just like share whatever I'm working on. And like often like I don't look perfect. Like I look nice today because I washed my hair for you. But
Thank you so
um
much.
yeah, you're welcome. I think that like we overthink how we need to show up and like people actually prefer to see us like it's kind of like with photography, like they want to see someone who looks like them. And like, yes, on our wedding days, like we're idealizing, like we want to look like the most beautiful girl ever. But the rest of the time, like we don't look like that. We want to just look like ourselves, right? And so,
Yeah.
like, if we see someone and that's like, that reminds us of ourselves, like that's a good thing. That's almost like going to create a connection.
Yeah.
So,
How do you feel like showing up like that has helped you like improve your business as far as like sales and clients and stuff like that?
I think that it just helps people connect with me. I think that I will like be honest, I do still kind of have a hard time because I like went viral a few times this year,
Yeah, you did.
and that has like brought up all these feelings in me and that I'm working through. And like people will say like, well, you're not going to go viral until you're ready, or like your business isn't going to grow until like you're ready to like hold that space, like until you have grown to like that capacity. And
Yeah.
that is so true because like as soon as
So
you
true.
grow, it's going to bring in like all these other problems. Like I almost like loved my my community, my following more when I was like under 10,000, because
Yeah.
it's like then it feels like safe and cozy, and it's like you know these people. And
Yeah.
now I've got like I don't know 25,000
Oh my
followers.
goodness. That's so
And
cool.
yeah, it's cool, but it also feels like I can't keep up with my DMs, and like that makes people angry. I miss a lot of comments.
Yeah.
People will just see a reel and like comment something mean and condescending like without understanding me, and like that I think like that's hard. Like
Oh,
it's just hard to see,
you're
and like
so right about like it's so true. I don't think your business will grow and you're not going to go viral until like you're ready and can handle that, because you're right. Like it does introduce a whole slew of new challenges in your business. Like
exactly. Yeah.
new mindset things, new systems things, new offers. Like everywhere you look, it will shift your business. And like
So true.
I have only gone viral like a couple times and I'm still under 5K, but I had a something come up too where like I knew I wasn't going to go viral and my account wouldn't blow up until I was like willing to let that happen. So then
Right.
finally I let it happen and it did, and I doubled my followers in like just I think like a month or maybe 2 months. And then I was so scared to post. I was
Yes,
like I'm
I
terrified.
totally get that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it,
I love having my private account now because it feels so comfortable for me to like show up there, but I'm still like grappling with showing up on my like main account
yeah.
because yeah, it just like it's this feeling of like this isn't safe anymore. But like yeah, I'm like learning like okay, it is like I have to tell my nervous system basically that it is safe for me to be seen, and like what however people perceive me or the things that I say, like that's on them. Like in a way I
Yeah.
kind of like I've been telling myself like social media is just make believe until I like intentionally decide like that it's real. So what I mean by that is like if someone comments something rude on a post, like I can just block and delete them and then they don't exist to me anymore. But
Bye.
like um, but like if I want to have like if someone keeps showing up in my DMs and then like we start having a conversation and I get to know them, like that's real.
Yeah,
And
you're
I
totally
probably sound like
choosing.
delusional, but like it's what you want to make it. Like obviously there's a point where like things can, I guess, become unsafe for you in real life, and like
Yeah.
the things that you say and do could have consequences. But
Yeah.
yeah, for the most part, it's a lot of mindset work.
It is so much mindset work. Like, I feel like all of social media is that way, but I think marketing
Hmm.
too, like, even in your emails, even in paid, I think it goes everywhere in marketing. But I feel like marketing is a mindset for sure. And like,
Yeah.
it's crazy because it is the part of your business that is like always changing. Like, your offers may not change, like you may have the same office, you like there's so many things in your business that are just going to stay the same, but like the way you
Right.
market is always changing. And I feel like that can it just can mess with your head a little bit when you're like,
Hmm.
am I doing this right? Like things are changing faster than I am. Like
Right.
I don't
I
know.
kind of feel like I'm in that place right now where like I I'm changing and like I want my content to change, and it's like a little bit I don't know, it's a little bit nerve-wracking because like we mentioned lazy girl marketing, like you can figure out things that work and like do them over and over again.
Yeah.
Right? But then like at some point it might not feel aligned anymore. And then it's like, okay, we get to like change this up again.
Yes. That
Let's
is
see how this goes.
it's so funny because it's so true. Like I got really comfortable with like my story sales strategy, and I basically like could use templates and like sell
Right.
my offers constantly every single week, every single day. But then like I got bored of it, and I started feeling icky about it, and then I was like,
Mm-hmm.
dang, that sucks because it was working really well,
Right.
and like the results were good, but like I didn't feel good, which to me, like I
Yeah,
don't care if it's working. I want to feel good about it.
exactly.
So,
That's where I feel like I'm at now.
yeah. And then you're like, I want to be lazy, but I can't.
Yeah. It's like, okay, I gotta figure this out. Yeah, it's so true. It's so real.
Okay, that makes me actually want to talk a little bit about like passive income because that's something you
Mm-hmm.
teach a lot about with stock photography. So, like,
Yeah,
let's get real about passive income. What really like
let's do it.
I'm curious about how much like you work versus like the
Mm-hmm.
passive side of it and what you've seen in other clients.
This is a fun topic because I feel like passive income has really blown up in the past few years, at least online, I feel like it has. And there's so much misinformation. And like, it is a sexy thing to have passive income. And I think everyone should have some form of passive income in your business. But I've always said like passive income requires an initial time or money investment, right? Like either you're investing in um, hiring someone to market your course for you, or you're investing like in stocks where your money can grow, or something like that. Like it's like one of those two things usually, or you're investing your time. So like with stock photography, it's a big investment of your time upfront. But like it
Yeah.
actually is like, I mean, if you take like, okay, I have this collection of photos, I'm going to upload them, I'm going to do all the work to keyword and like prepare and submit them to my agency. Once they're accepted by your agency, that the work part is done. But then like if you want to keep like if you want to really succeed with stock photography, you need a large portfolio.
Yeah.
And so every time I upload new photos, I feel like an older photo will sell. And it's like that like bumps your photos up in their like search, and it just gives your photos more opportunities to be seen. So it's like I'm still doing work, but it's almost like that work multiplies and multiplies and multiplies.
Yeah. That makes a lot
So
of
like
sense.
I do believe that it is passive income, but at the same time it's like if you want to make more money, like you're going to have to continue putting in that effort.
Yeah.
Um but like when it comes to like courses and digital products, like I don't even know if I would call that passive anymore. Like it's still it's
Yeah.
more like your efforts are multiplied.
Yeah, it's like honestly more like group coaching where like
Mhm.
it is like a one to many offer,
Yes.
less so just like totally passive because yeah, like your courses have to be updated like pretty much constantly,
Mhm.
and that you're always in there like asking for testimonials, like chatting with people, like trying to make it better all the time, and then yeah, it's not
Yeah.
you're not just doing nothing.
At one point I thought I wanted to like have many courses. And then this past year, I decided to just focus on Stock Photography Academy because, like, in order for me to actually feel good about selling that course, I need to be constantly updating it. I need to constantly be making it better. And, like, it's an industry where things are always changing. Like, now we have AI, like, you can license AI photos. So, like, I'm the person, like, I feel like it's um my responsibility to be like, okay, students, like, I'm going to try this and report back to you. And so, like, that's what I've been doing all summer.
Yeah.
I took a course on Midjourney, and I've been like testing out all these different ways to use it. And like, as a photographer and someone who's been doing stock, like, how can I use this for market research? And like, do I really think, like, I want to also see like how popular are these photos? Like, do people actually want to buy AI stock photos? And like,
Yeah.
what type of customer wants to buy AI stock photos? So like, that's a lot of work for me to just sell one course.
Yeah, that makes me go into another question I had, and it's like, how much time are you spending on your business versus like in your business? Because it's different for everyone. I spend a lot of time working like in my business with my clients one on one, blah, 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 and not a
Yeah.
lot of time working on it. Like, I'm not doing what you're doing, like trying a new software and like trying to figure
Mm-hmm.
that out for me. I'm not doing that. But you're kind of like, it almost seems like opposite, because you are like, you have to do all this research and like be the trailblazer and like figure it out. You're not working with like a client necessarily. You're working on like
Right.
building out the offer that will come in the future.
Exactly. And almost just like, for a few years, I really thought that I would be doing like higher ticket offers and like working more one on one with people. And now I'm realizing like my offer is really more of like the one to many, and like making, like, my course is so full of like trainings and like more courses. Like, I'll give my course students like a new course every
Yeah.
quarter. Like I made a new course that has to do with like travel stock photography. And I'm like, I feel like, since I have like an academy, like they need to get this too. Like, to me
Yeah.
it's like I'm just constantly like building up the resources that they get, because I want to give them the best chance to succeed.
Yeah.
I don't really know that like that's the best like decision, like monetarily, for my business. Like, I could
I
probably
don't
sell,
know.
but I to me, like, it feels more in integrity, and it feels like I've always wanted to be a teacher, like since I was in kindergarten. Like, that was like my career goal all through high school. And so it feels kind of cool that like now I am a teacher on my own terms. And so like I don't really take that lightly. Um
Yeah.
like,
I
I
mean,
love marketing my courses, but at the same time, like, I still want my courses to be like my main focus, or
yeah.
like
And
my
like,
educational content. Like, I don't want to get caught up in just like all the marketing fun stuff about it.
yeah. And like, I feel like this is one thing that's hard about social media. I feel like is there's so many coaches that are like, you need your high ticket offer, you need your mid ticket offer, you need your low ticket offer, like, well, like all
Yeah.
these different things. And like, I took a really extensive social media course when I first started, and they basically gave you the recipe, right? They said, do
Mm-hmm.
exactly this, and then you'll book clients that are $2,500 a month. You only need 4 of them, happily ever after, right?
Right.
But then I was in it and I was like, ain't no way I'm charging someone $2,500. I can't deliver $2,500 worth of results for these people. And it might be similar for you, like with stock photography, where like it doesn't make sense
Yes.
for you to charge someone $1,500 a month to work one on one with you, because like for them to get an ROI on that is going to take 12, 24 months, like it doesn't make sense.
Yes.
And so I think that's
Exactly.
where like you have to ask yourself and looking inside your own business and say like, does this make sense for me? Or does it
Mm-hmm.
make more sense for me to cut down the information I'm giving, let it be a lower ticket offer, whatever, so that people can actually get that ROI that they want
Mm-hmm.
instead of just following the recipe of the coach.
Right. Yeah, and I've been playing around with that too, because like Stock Photography Academy, it's like $1,000.
Yeah.
So it's, I wouldn't say that's like high ticket, but it's definitely an investment for people. And like you
Yeah.
said, it's going to take them longer to get that ROI. But then I've also been playing around with like lower ticket offers. So like I mentioned that travel photography course, like I sell that
Yeah.
separately. So
Perfect.
that's where I'm just like, I'm playing around with like, I want people to be able to access this information without like having to, like get a credit card to put it on their credit card. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like for people that do want to make that investment and like go all in, that's where I'm like, okay, I want to give you like everything that I can to help you succeed. Um,
Yeah.
but I have to tell you, I actually did this high ticket mastermind where it was like building these like $20,000 offers. And it was so like, it was the worst investment I ever made for myself
No.
because it just was like, I think sometimes like we see these coaches and these programs and like they're aspirational and we think like if we invest this money then like we can be like them and like this is what we need to get to that level. But then like something I realized is like this isn't the type of work that I want to be doing. And like I didn't feel comfortable with
Yeah.
like the sales tactics that they taught. Um and like you said, I didn't feel like the ROI was really there. So that, yeah, that
Yeah.
was like, I know you were gonna probably ask me about like a regret. But yeah, so I think that's like a good thing to bring up is just that like not every strategy is for you and for your business.
It's so real, and like that pressure is just so there. Like I get that pressure all the time of like you need a higher ticket offer, you need a higher ticket offer. And like I do have a couple clients that are $2,500 a month, but they're clients that like I am certainly getting them that ROI and
Mm-hmm.
they have the money to spend on it, you know?
Right.
I didn't feel comfortable asking these mid-level businesses. Like I know people on the internet want to be like I'm a multimillionaire, but asking these honestly not that big of businesses to spend that kind of money on social media, I was like, that's probably all your profit, that you're spending on
Right.
me as a social media manager. And there's other ways I can serve you that are more beneficial, gonna give you a better ROI than
Right.
that. So like, why am I following someone else's plan for me?
I think like those plans work when you're not working with like smaller entrepreneurs and small businesses. But at the same time, I think a lot of us who are creative and are like small business owners, like those are the people that we want to work with. And so it's just almost like that framework doesn't work with that
Yeah.
type of business. Like if you want to work with corporate clients or like, like the coaches that say they make millions of dollars a year, like that's the type of client that you should be speaking to and like creating your offers for.
Yeah. And like I just feel like the marketing is so like different. Like if you want to work with like corporate people, it's like you're probably going to need to go to LinkedIn. Like you're not really going to get that on
Yeah. You're
Instagram. Like
not
they're not, those people are on Instagram, yeah, but not to find you. They're on there to like enjoy
right.
their time off,
Or like
not,
looking at skincare routines and
yeah.
stuff like that.
Yeah. Like they're not looking for you. So I think it just shifts things. But
Yeah.
yeah, that is super interesting. And I think passive income is really buzzy. And I think you just have to be like honest with yourself about like what your expectations are for that
Mm-hmm.
and really the time that goes into it. Especially like for you're spending a lot of time getting those offers
Yeah.
going.
I work like Monday through Wednesday. I probably only work 4 hours a day. And then like Thursday, Friday, I'll work probably like 6 to 8 hours. And then sometimes I work on the weekends. Like it's all kind
Yeah.
of based on my daughter's schedule because I'm also a single mom now. So like I have to work around all that. And what's almost better than like just receiving passive income is like having that flexibility. So I've built a lot of that flexibility into my business. Like I only schedule live calls on days when she's not going to be at home. Like I'm not going
Yeah.
to cancel a call because like my daughter's, needs my attention or something. So like I have to work around that. And I built a business that can do that, which I love.
That's like a
But
major
yeah.
lazy girl hack. It's make your life work for you, so that you're not
Right.
having to do those things.
And like I love coaching, but I actually stopped doing it because it just didn't feel like aligned right now in my life
Yeah.
too. So like sometimes you might have to take offers off the table for a little while and then you can bring them back. But
Yeah.
at the same time, like I think with my messaging and like with passive income, I like to say that like it can give you choices, right? Like it gives you options and freedom. And I'm not necessarily like preaching that people should get passive income so that they could just like go travel the world and like be like quote unquote lazy and like lay on the couch all day. Like for me it's like if I have passive income, like then there's times where like kids can be sick and home from school for like 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And like there's not a lot of work that can happen during that time. And like I don't really feel like I have the option to go out and get a full-time job. Like I think that would
Yeah.
be pretty impossible for me. And so like passive income just like creates this room for me. Like if I don't want to if I don't like have the time or capacity, like put out an offer next month, I don't have to worry about that as much because I have like my stock photo income. And even now, like I love doing payment plans for my course because that
Yeah.
kind of feels more like passive income to me.
Yes, it totally does.
I'm like moving to a place where I'm going to do 2 launches a year for my course. And like my thought is I'm going to go all in on those launches. And like the month after, we're going to do like a full month of live calls. And then each month after I'll do like a coaching call or something, but like it definitely kind of can fizzle out after that point. Like not fizzle out, but like the work gets less and less until I do
Yeah.
the next launch. So like to me 2 times a year feels really good and like doable, gives me enough time to like write out my full email sequence for my launch and like get my audience ready. But if I was like launching a new course every month, like I just couldn't do that.
Couldn't.
That would
Yeah.
not fit my lifestyle. So,
Yeah, I love your focus on like the flexibility because that's truly what it's about. Like, I think people can get caught up in
yeah.
a number, like even me too. I see people's like income claims and I'm like, dang, that would be so nice. Like, hello, down payment on a house, But
Mm-hmm.
it's really deeper than that. And it is like the flexibility and the freedom to take time off when you need to, like for your daughter or for me, like
Right.
if I want to go on a trip or whatever. I can do that and it's not, I don't have
Right.
to work every single
And
day.
even like for someone like you, like if you have a client who's like a nightmare client, it's nice if you have like the extra income like to pad that. So say you just decide like for your own peace, you need to let this client go. Like I know a lot of people who will hold on to people like that, even though it's like destroying them and destroying their business. But if like
Yes.
you have a little passive income stream, same with photographers, like we always know when there's like that red flag client that's going to make our life miserable. And to be able to like stand in your worth and say like, I don't think this is a good fit for me. I'm sorry. And like to be able to turn down that income is a huge deal, especially like I feel like a lot of us are like service providers. We're like always chasing the next client.
Yeah.
Like it's rare, especially like right now, it's rare to not be chasing more clients.
Yeah.
So to be able to like give
And that's
yourself
so
that choice,
exhausting.
it is, yeah. And to like at least be able to give yourself the option
Yeah.
is a
I
huge
agree.
gift.
Yeah. I love that so much. Oh, my one last question for you
Okay.
is if you could give your younger self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Personal or business related?
Either one, really, just whatever comes to
Well,
mind.
this is something great about getting older, is that you really just care less and less what people think about you. I wish there could have been a way to like teach my younger self that.
Yeah.
And also like not to get married at 23.
Touche. Except I got married when I was 18. Mistake. Mistake was made.
Yeah, like romanticizing that is just not it. So I wish I could have, waited a bit
Totally
longer, but
with you on that. But what do you do?
yeah.
We
I feel
didn't
like that
know.
was really cliche. Like that was a really cliche answer.
No,
I'm
that was
sorry.
no, don't be sorry. That's perfect. I just love to hear,
But
like,
it's true.
what you would tell yourself. And there are definitely people listening to this that could potentially make those mistakes. And maybe they
Yeah.
won't when they hear your story. So,
Yeah, I guess like just to elaborate on my first answer of like not caring what other people think about you, like I had to like let go of some of those people in my life that were making me overthink that. And so that is something that like I could tell myself is like let go of these
yeah.
people. They're not lifting you up. They're just like holding you back.
And like, hey, did you know you can remove a follower?
That's okay.
Like if you don't want them to see your stuff, like you can click remove follower.
Yeah, or block them from your stories. Yeah.
I've
It's
definitely
super
done that.
easy.
Blocked people
Yeah.
from my stories that I'm just like seeing your face there stresses me out.
Exactly. It's not that like I don't like them or yeah, it's like if someone makes me overthink what I want to post, then I just need to remove them.
Yeah. Oh, so agree with that.
And
Well,
usually it's just me, it's not them, but
no, it's like personal for sure. It's not about
yeah,
them at all. But like if removing them helps you, then do
do
it.
it.
Like no shame. Yeah. I love that so much. Thank you so much for being here and chatting with us about your journey. And I loved everything we talked about. I hope it's really useful for the people listening. I know it
Yeah,
will
me
be.
too.
But thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. This was great.
Yep. Okay, we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Bye.
First, I want to say thank you so much for being here and listening to my podcast. It means the world to me, and I just appreciate this community more than you could ever know. If you love this episode or a previous episode that you've listened to, go ahead and head to the leave a review link in the show notes and leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. And we're so glad that you're here. Thank you.